All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's a beautiful day, and I'm privileged to be your MC. My name is Chris Thiel. I'm the Director of Continuing Care for the Northwest in the Saskatchewan Health Authority, and my area of responsibility is Meadow Lake and area. It's my privilege to welcome everyone to the Northwest Community Lodge, and today we're located on Treaty 6, homeland of the Métis. Recognizing this history is important to our future and our efforts to close the gap in health outcomes between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. I pay my respects to the traditional caretakers of this land. To our media partners, thank you for coming today. We'll please hold all questions until the formal program has finished. Elder William Ratfoot was here earlier today, and they did a pipe ceremony inside the building, inside our home in the ceremonial room. And so the prayer has already occurred for our building today. So we want to acknowledge and thank you, Elder Ratfoot, and all of those that participated in the pipe ceremony this morning. So first up, I would like to call upon Minister Hindley to bring greetings on behalf of the Saskatchewan government.
Thanks very much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the government of Saskatchewan, and joined by a number of dignitaries here in the crowd today for this very special event. First of all, my colleague from the legislature, Jeremy Harrison, the MLA for this area, who's been a strong advocate for this project. Also, the Minister of Trade and Export Development. Member of Parliament, Gary Vidal. I see you in the crowd here today as well. Good to see you, sir. It's been some time since our paths have crossed, and I think our job titles have changed, but here we are once again. The Mayor, Your Worship, Berlin Seymour, my first opportunity to meet you, sir. Thanks for hosting us in your community on this fine day. And of course, the community members of Meadow Lake and surrounding area, residents, staff that work in our healthcare facilities, thanks for being here today as well. Our government recognizes the importance of healthcare across this province, and whether it's in communities like Swift Current or Weyburn or here in Meadow Lake today, we know how important it is to have high-quality healthcare services right across Saskatchewan. You recall that back in 2009, our government promised the replacement or significant renovation of 13 long-term care facilities across this province, facilities that were in fairly significant need of replacement or repair. And today is actually a very special day because today recognizes or signifies the completion of that promise from what seems like so many years ago today, with the official opening of the new Northwest Community Lodge, completing the 13 facilities that were listed way back in 2009. This particular project is a $38 million project. The government of Saskatchewan providing about $30.5 million, the remainder coming from the community share. And it's truly a milestone that I want to thank the people of Meadow Lake and surrounding area for, and particularly to the residents of this care facility and the staff as well for their patience. It's been some time to try and get this facility completed. It may have seemed like there were times where this day would never come, and as a result of a number of issues, not the least of which were some of the supply chain issues we've experienced over the past couple of years, it's taken some time to get to today's event. But we are here today to celebrate the opening of the official opening of this facility, a remarkably efficient small house design, actually very similar. I'm looking forward to having the chance to walk through it today, but very similar to what we have in Swift Current, the community I represent, where there's also a small house design for the residents here. I understand the residents moved in, I think just last week, if I'm not mistaken, here into the new facility here. And I just want to acknowledge the residents for their patience as we arrive at this day here today. Thank you to everyone who's been involved, to those who have contributed to this project, both financially and otherwise, in particular to the Meadow Lake Hospital Foundation for its extraordinary efforts in raising the additional funds needed to see this project through. This day would not have come without the support of the foundation, the community, the businesses, the donors, the volunteers, everyone who's contributing to this particular project. And of course, to the residents and the healthcare workers in this facility, thank you so much. So thanks once again for the invitation for me to be here to say a few words on behalf of the government, and thank you for everyone contributing to this very valuable project.
Thank you very much, Minister Hindley. Next, it's my pleasure to invite Andrew Will up, Interim CEO, and to say a few words on behalf of the SHA.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis to celebrate the grand opening of the Northwest Community Lodge here in Meadow Lake. I'd like to thank Elder William Ratfoot for leading us this morning in a pipe ceremony to really start the day off in a good way, and also, as mentioned, he provided an opening prayer for us as well, and we really appreciate that. I'd like to recognize the Honourable Gary Vital, Member of Parliament for Meadow Lake, Minister Everett Hindley, Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, Seniors and Rural and Remote Health, Minister Jeremy Harrison, MLA for Meadow Lake, His Worship Mayor Merlin Seymour, and also Russ Jones, Rural Municipality Board Member for Meadow Lake. I'd also like to also acknowledge some board members that are here with us today. Rosalina Smith is a member of the Saskatchewan Health Authority Board, as is David Fan, part of our board. And I'd also like to acknowledge David was previously CEO of the Prairie North Health Region and was instrumental in helping to advance this project, along with a number of board members from that board that have joined us today as well. So we're really pleased to have them here today with us. Also here today with us is a couple of important members of our executive team. Andrew McCletchie is the Vice President of Integrated Northern Health, and Dr. Stephanie Young is our Physician Executive for Integrated Northern Health. If they could just both wave, that would be great. Thank you. On behalf of the Saskatchewan Health Authority, I'd like to acknowledge the outstanding contributions of the Northwest Community Lodge Association and its generous donors for their continued dedication and commitment to enhancing and advancing the continuity of high quality healthcare services in the community of Meadow Lake. With us today from the foundation are Alana Farr, Board Chair, and Crystal Murray, Vice Chair, as well as many other board members. I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the foundation and all of the donors who have supported our provincial health system through this project. Through meaningful engagement and partnership, we continue to strengthen our ability to provide seamless healthcare as close to home as possible for the residents of Meadow Lake and surrounding area. I'd now like to express my sincerest gratitude to our staff and our team members who have worked so tirelessly to make the transition to this new lodge as seamless as possible for our residents. And I know that is no small task to support our residents through a move like that. And I also want to say thank you to the residents for your patience as we've moved you into your new home. We're really grateful for all the support of our teams, the support we've received from family members who have helped their loved ones move into their new home. Today we celebrate the opening of the Northwest Community Lodge, a 72-bed lodge that will offer a home-like environment for residents and their loved ones, which includes expanded communal living spaces and dining areas, a beautiful outdoor space, which is still being finished, you'll notice, and also a spiritual room where we held the ceremonies this morning. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is committed to closing the gap in health outcomes between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples and supporting a philosophy of people-centered care for all Saskatchewan people. This philosophy of care guides all aspects of planning, delivery, and evaluating health services. Delivering on our commitment to people-centered care means creating and nurturing mutually beneficial partnerships with patients, clients, residents, families, and communities that we serve. It also ensures that the care we provide is respectful, compassionate, and culturally safe. I'd like to thank everyone who came out today, this hot day, not a day you want to be wearing a suit, to celebrate with us and for your continuing support of healthcare in northern Saskatchewan. A day like today is indicative of our vision for the Saskatchewan Health Authority: healthy people, healthy Saskatchewan. As part of this vision, we will continue to work with you into the future, keeping patients, residents, families, and all those we serve at the center of everything that we do. Together, we have built a welcoming, inclusive healthcare facility to deliver culturally responsive care. I'm profoundly grateful to all those that have made it possible. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Andrew. And now it's my pleasure to invite Crystal Murray, Vice Chair of the Northwest Community Lodge Association. The association was formed in 2015 to raise $2.3 million for the fundraising and equipment for the new lodge. This dedicated group of volunteers have generated a generous donor base to help them reach their goal. Crystal and Alana have joined us, Alana Farr, and thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, residents, staff, ladies, gentlemen, dignitaries, and honorable guests. I'm Crystal Murray, co-chair of the Northwest Community Lodge Association, and with me is my co-chair, Alana Farr. Our non-profit group was formed in 2015 to raise funds for the furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the new facility that we are proudly standing in front of today. We are a small group of 10 volunteers who have spent countless hours to raise these funds. Our committee would like to express our deepest gratitude to all of our donors, members of the community and surrounding area who have supported our fundraising efforts over the last 7 years. As a result of your generous donations, our committee has raised today $1,771,615.08. Even though the residents have moved into the new facility, our organization is dedicated to raising the $2 million goal and will continue to fundraise after that goal is met. With that in mind, we are committed to assist the long-term home by fundraising for continuous needs of medical equipment and furniture in the future. All donations, no matter how small, have helped to furnish our residents' rooms, equipment necessary for day-to-day living, along with the outdoor venues which are still in progress. Our recognition wall will be situated just inside the automatic doors on your right and will display all of our generous donors. As I'm sure you are all aware, we have recognition space if you or your organization would like to fund a wing, room, gazebo, or a bench. Today, we can announce that we have named, another wing for the facility, which leaves 2 wings left for recognition. Thank you, Eve Danelkowicz, for your generous donation to our fundraising efforts. Your generosity has touched our committee deeply. I have just a little note. There seems to be some confusion with respect to some tours that are going on today. Our fundraising group is providing tours to our donors only today. This is not an open house to view the facility. I'm sorry for any confusion that this may have caused any of your community members. In closing, I would like to thank all of the generous people, service groups, businesses in and around Meadow Lake area. Without you all, we could not have raised the funds necessary for our residents to move into their new home. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal and Alana. That is excellent. I would now like to invite Minister Jeremy Harrison, MLA for Meadow Lake, to come up and say a few words.
Well, thanks so much. It really is great to be here on what is a great day, beautiful day outside, and a great day for our community. And I want to acknowledge some folks as well. Minister Hindley Everett, good friend of mine. Thanks so much for making the journey from Swift Current. Really appreciate it. Want to acknowledge MP Gary Vidal, and Gary is not only our member of parliament at this point, but Gary had been the mayor through a whole long part of the development of this project. So Gary, thanks so much for being here. Had to make a quick trip over from some of his other tours, very large, I think the second largest riding in the country. So Gary was out and about. Thanks for being here. Mayor Seymour, of course, thanks so much for being here as well. And I want to thank Crystal Murray and Alana Farr as well. Thanks so much for being here, and well said with regard to the comments. Want to acknowledge, I saw Dr. Van Deventer, thanks for being here as well, our chief of staff at the hospital. I think we're going to be going over and doing a bit of a tour later today as well there. Want to acknowledge, I see Bonnie O'Grady, former board chair of Prairie North Health Region, and David Fan, who had been our CEO of Prairie North Health Region. And just a bit of a story on that. I want to thank David for this. the reason that this is a 72-bed facility rather than 60 was really David's initiative. And Minister Duncan at the time, I remember giving me a call saying, you know, we're considering this. David thinks this is possible that we would move to 60 to 72. What do you think? And you know, obviously my answer was, yeah, absolutely. Let's move forward with it. But thanks, David, for your leadership on that, and that's really why we have the facility that we do here today. I want to acknowledge Russ Jones from the RM, and thanks for being here as well. Appreciate it. Want to acknowledge as well, obviously, all of our community members and residents who I think just moved over last week. We actually were able to move residents from the former lodge over to the new lodge here, and it's just a beautiful facility. And Andrew spoke. I want to acknowledge Andrew as well from SHA, who spoke on the details of this facility. You know, $38 million, larger than the previous facility that we had in the community, and really is going to be a fixture here for a long time. And I want to thank the community as well for the community's patience and forbearance as we move through you know, what was a bit of a process to get to where we are today. And I do want to thank and acknowledge the community for their continued support through all of this. Our municipal partners, of course. The way that the funding arrangements work in these things is basically it's an 80% contribution from the province of Saskatchewan with a 20% commitment from the municipal governments that are in the area or that it's in the community for. So I want to thank the City of Meadow Lake and the RM of Meadow Lake for being just wonderful partners through this entire process as well, and want to acknowledge the leadership shown by Mayor Vidal at that point, now MP Vidal, Mayor Seymour, and a number of the leaders at the RM level as well, starting with Ray Wilfing and moving through a number as well, who had the leadership position at that point. This really is going to be a wonderful facility for our community, not just today it is, but into the long term. And this is going to be here for decades. And I think this is something that as a community we can all be very, very proud of, particularly given the significant contributions that members of this community have made to create this facility and actually the location as well. And I want to acknowledge the Nedelkowicz family who donated the land on which this facility is located. There had been in the early stages of the project a lot of discussion on siting and different options, and a lot of them were not without challenge. And I just want to thank the Nedelkowiczes for their contribution, and great to hear that there's going to be a wing recognizing those contributions as well. So I just want to say this is a great day. I want to thank those who are here today for being here, and I want to thank sincerely, I hope I didn't miss anybody, I'm sure I did, but those who have made such contributions to this facility over the course of the last decade. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Harrison. And finally, I'd like to invite the Honorable Mayor Merlin Seymour to bring greetings on behalf of the City of Meadow Lake. Merlin?
Thank you very much, Chris. Just a few people I'd like to say special thanks to. First of all, Minister Harrison. This is going back a few years, I think like 2009. And our former mayor, Gary Vidal, very instrumental in making this a 72-bed facility, along with the help of David Van and Bonnie over there. If it wasn't for you folks that I just mentioned, this is probably a 60-bed facility. So thanks very much for that. Minister Hindley, Minister Harrison, Gary, Honorable MP, Russ Jones from the RM, very important, half share for the local community, and Dr. Gavin over there. Glad to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all of out-of-town guests to Meadow Lake. Thanks for driving up here, Everett. And thank you to the Saskatchewan Health Authority for inviting me to be here, and welcome you all to the grand opening of the beautifully constructed, brand new Northwest Community Lodge. Last Tuesday, the residents were moved in to their new home. And I'm sure that it is somewhat different than where you came from. I'm betting that it is. The lodge has been a part of Meadow Lake for more than 70 years, and I, for one, am excited to see it move into the new stage of operations. The residents of the lodge are often long-term residents of Meadow Lake, who have helped build and strengthen our community over their lifetime. Throughout the process of building the new lodge, we were reminded that this just isn't a healthcare facility for them, it's their home. And I'm happy to be able to say that these residents will be able to live peaceful, dignified, and comfortable lives while getting access to the care they need in this state-of-the-art new facility. A big thank you goes out to the Northwest Community Lodge Association, Crystal and Alana and your whole crew for all of their hard work in the fundraising and advocating for this project. So on behalf of the Council of the City of Meadow Lake and our residents, I wish you all the best with your new facility and hope that you have a wonderful transition into your new home. And thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, Mayor Seymour. All right. I'd like to take a few minutes for myself to try to do some acknowledgements on behalf of the SHA, more at a local level. I've been involved in this project since the approval to proceed with the construction that was received in 2019. Many others were involved in the previous planning that are here today that have already been mentioned, so I won't go into that, but back to 2009, and some that were involved in planning even before 2009. There are many people and groups that have made this grand opening possible. So many deserve acknowledgements, and at that I risk forgetting some, but I still must try. So if I do forget somebody that deserves a well-earned acknowledgement and a thank you, I thank you generally, but I still want to try and do my best to recognize those that need recognition. So that I go back to the original design planning team, from Derek Miller, the SHA executives, including Neil Sylvester, the Ministry of Health leaders, to approve this request to make some needed changes from the previous design. Those changes were significant improvements that made the function better for residents and staff. I want to thank the residents for input on their design. Some of them that are here outside today, and their patience for waiting many years and to have trust in us as we move along with your family members and loved ones as we work through designing a facility that will serve your needs and hopefully make this long-term care home a home that you'll be proud to live in. I'd like to recognize our steering committee, which formed in 2019, made up of SHA leaders, ministry partners, municipal leaders from the city and the RM, the architects from AOBDT, and along the way, they've all provided insight and contribution to the project as it progressed. I'd like to recognize Shelley Wasloo, manager of the Northwest Community Lodge and the former Northlands Pioneer Lodge, Janice Filion, our former assistant manager, Alana Farr, our nursing unit coordinator. Alana wears two hats a lot of days, so thank you, Alana. I'd like to acknowledge Ken Rudd, our project manager, and to the architects of AOBDT, Binder Construction, and all their subcontractors who have made this a reality today. As the project neared completion, the clinical team implemented an invaluable core team from care staff and nursing staff who work here, and they work here on site, preparing the building and all of the work processes. So thank you to Carla, Dee Dee, Bonnie, Serena, and Audrey. I'd also like to say thank you to Basil, our equipment coordinator. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Basil, our equipment coordinator and building extraordinaire, as he learns all the ins and outs of this new building. Our team of environmental service workers who have been busy ensuring that we keep this building clean during the tail end of the construction and meeting the expectation of infection control. And closer to opening, I'd like to thank the Food Nutrition Services Department. Their team started to prepare the kitchens and work on their work standards, as they will now be cooking in each of the houses instead of a large commercial-like kitchen, which is integral to a home-like environment in this new home. The building services team for the work preparing to move residents, their belongings, and a long list of existing equipment that was at our old long-term care home over to the new. It was a big job, a busy day, and I'd like to say thank you to all those folks that really pulled together, including Robert, Verla, and Berlene, to help with all the work that's happened over the last week and the days leading up to it. I'd also like to thank the leaders of those support services, Carmen, Joe, Mohammed, Wanda, and Danielle. I'd like to pay tribute to our care staff and nursing staff and recreation staff that have really pulled together for the move into the new long-term care home, and they've encountered a lot of challenges along the way, and they've faced those well and pulled through them. To Karen Kinderchuk, who has helped with so much with the recreation department and their new staff that have been working in the last few weeks. Randine and her work both behind the scenes and up front at our new reception desk, and she will be one that greets new families and visitors as they enter our new long-term care home. I'd like to acknowledge our purchasing department to ensure that the equipment that was purchased for furnishings, equipment, and supplies, our IT and IM departments for their input, their support along the way, up to and including this week. I'd really like to thank the Northwest Community Lodge Association for their fundraising efforts within the community at very difficult times. Thank you so much to all the community members that have donated through the fundraising association, either through events or larger donations. Big or small, all donations and efforts towards this project are so very much appreciated. I'd like to also thank Jake and Eva Danelkowicz, who donated the land and made another significant donation. And to round off, I'd like to thank our out-of-scope continuing care and clinical integration team who helped out when there was needed gaps. Most of you know who you are, but Neil, Penny, Jacqueline, Tina, Christina, Deanna, and Leonard, I'd like to thank you for the time that you've spent when I needed the help. So thank you very much. And so with that, at this time, I'd like to invite one of our residents, Arlene Schuler, co-chair of the Resident Council, Minister Hindley, Minister Harrison, Andrew Will, Mayor Seymour, and Crystal Murray, and Alana, if you want to get up here too, to come up forward for the official ribbon cutting ceremony.
On behalf of the residents, I just want to say what a wonderful place this has become. We couldn't even imagine it. And I still have trouble imagining some of the areas. But it's fantastic, and we just want to say thank you to all those concerned to put it together. So thank you.
Everybody can grab a. There we go.
Okay, photo ops.
Throw with this. I swear you've done that 100 times before. That's good.